Hi and welcome to our video about digital marketing jobs. We're going to discuss the best way to land your first digital marketing job, apprenticeship or internship. My name's Martin and I'm the founder and director at Blue Thirst, a digital marketing agency based in Bournemouth that is now almost 10 years old. Over this time and in my previous roles, I've probably read well over 1,000 CVs and conducted well over 100 interviews. Today, I want to talk to you about the 7 things that you can do as an applicant to stand out and land that agency digital marketing job. My first point is probably quite obvious, but you'll be amazed how often that it will come up in an interview. Know the job you want. Every industry has a huge breadth of roles available. In digital marketing, you could be doing anything from content creation, videos like these, search engine optimization, where you're getting websites to rank on the first page of search, running paid media campaigns on the likes of Google, Bing and Facebook ads. You could be involved in social media management for brands' organic posts. You could be a designer creating social content, advertising banners, or even website content. You could be a web developer working on different maintenance or automation scripting. You may even want to become a specialist in different content management systems, which could lead you to work with specific agencies. It's amazing when you come to an interview, and I have a lot of apprentices in a day, and they all want to work in digital marketing. But when you ask them what area, you get quite a few blank faces. They haven't always thought far ahead, but it's important that you do so and make sure you know the best roles to go after. Try not to be too specific. I remember once I interviewed a girl and all she wanted to do was write the short tagline, like Nike's Just Do It. If you know the area you want to work in, and you can look for businesses and agencies that will fit that environment that you're looking for. Know which companies that you want to work for. Now you've worked out the area that you want to work in, you should be able to figure out the ideal companies that you would like to work for. Some of the best apprentices we've had contacted us directly. They've reached out and said, I'm an apprentice and I want to do digital marketing and I specifically want to do work with you guys. I want to work with you because of the clients you and the sort of work that you do. That's quite impressive because they've done their research on the business and they've identified the way they feel and they think that they would be a good fit. You probably want to come up with around 40 companies which are local to you that do the things that you want to do as a job. These want to be your ideal fit for your new job. Full service agencies tend to specialise in a couple of things or have small departments for each area. So if you want a little bit of everything, they're a good place to start. If you want to do something specific, such as paid media, then find agencies such as us with a reputation for excelling in paid media. It's also a good idea to look at agencies' case studies. You'll see the kind of clients they work with and see if you'd be interested in working in those sorts of things. You'll stand out if you can tell an interviewer that you have an interest in the types of clients that they typically work with. You can also check their case studies for the outputs they're giving for their clients, and this is a good window into what the actual job will be like. Now, you've worked out the area you want to work in and the companies you like to work for. Now you need to start showing off to those companies. So the third key point is have a relevant portfolio. If you're going into an SEO agency, you need to be able to show experience in ranking websites. Whether you build your own for practice or maybe are running some affiliate websites, it's important that you show experience in on-site and off-site SEO. You should be knowledgeable on technical terms because I guarantee you'll be asked about it during the interview. We know that when you're an apprentice or an intern, you haven't had professional experience, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have tried things. Whether you've practiced SEO for your own blog or on a social media page for your art, talking about the ups and downs of those activities will make you stand out from clients who aren't as passionate about pursuing this career. This could put you in the top 10% of applicants. 90% of applicants just apply in the hope they can pull it off in an interview, and they usually don't get the role. So, now you have a portfolio, you need to show that you've invested in yourself. When we take on an apprentice, they need an hourly wage and a training cost, but that's not really the expensive part. The most expensive part is the interviewing time and onboarding, the time that your colleagues have to spend to get you set up and get you trained in a way that we need. If you were to join Blue Thirst, we would get you Google certified. We're a Google Premier Partner Agency. We'll also get you Microsoft certified, and we have a whole set of training pieces for you. This can be a very large investment in someone who could potentially leave straight away after they've completed their apprenticeship. If you can show that you've invested time, it's a good indicator that you're interested in this role because you've used your personal time to try and learn. There are lots of free marketing resources out there. Google's Digital Garage, Facebook's Blueprint Training, and completing the Google Ads certification are all free and would earn you significant brownie points. This is because you'll be entering the role with some of the basic knowledge about your new role. So now you've done all the hard work, you need to get your CV right. So I maybe get 200 CVs to look at for any single role. But I have to be honest, each individual CV doesn't really get that much time. If you've got tons of text, I'm likely not going to read it. The first thing that I do is I scan your CV for specific things. I scan to see if you've invested time in your own training, have you got a portfolio, and have you showing any specific interests in the role that you're actually applying for. If you haven't included this information clearly in your one-page CV, it's probably going to get dismissed. I'm quite a busy person and I also have a lot of CVs to look through, and I shouldn't have to investigate your CV in depth to find out if you're suitable or interested in my role. Your CV should be tailored to every role that you apply for. It should be spell checked and professionally laid out. Try to make the obvious key points you would get to talk about in an interview. You could bullet point the training you've completed, you could include the URL for your portfolio, or list the experience. You just need to make it super clear in order to get through to the next stage. Okay, so now you've got your interview, you need to start thinking about how to get an advantage over the other applicants. So some of the things I would do in this case are connecting on LinkedIn with the people that I think are going to be interviewing me and the owner of the business, but also competitors of that business. Think of yourself as a commodity. If I saw that you were connected with 5 of my competitors, I might be thinking, this person's really interested in working in this sector. Maybe they're further down the line with some of my competitors, and I might need to be a bit more serious when considering this person. If I want them to work for me, I need to get on with that process and get it in the works before they're potentially offered a job by one of my competitors. Once you're connected, you want to start showing up in their newsfeed. You want to be creating knowledgeable posts and engaging with industry content. That would have me thinking that you've got a little bit of get up and go, and you're in the right place, engaging with the right content. This gives you a very powerful advantage if you've been getting in front of the decision makers when they're considering hiring you for the role that is suitable for you. As someone who hires staff, I will look you up on LinkedIn and Facebook, and once I've reviewed your CV, so it's important that you give a good first impression. It doesn't all have to be business related, but sensible about the things that you probably post out there are worth considering. The next stage, you've got through to the interview. So we run a 2-stage interview. Initially, we'll have a chat so we can really see your personality, and then I can see if you'll fit in with the existing team that we already have. By this point, your CV has stood out, so at this stage, we're not really focusing on your skills. We need to see whether or not your personality is a good fit for you to flourish. Make sure you're on time because your interview, because if you're not, this really could be make or break. If you're running late, or your car's broken down, or you're lost, let your interviewer know as soon as you can and to let them know that you're still coming. We also run a test in our first interview. So it's just really to prove your basic core skills, so in proofreading and some maths, just to make sure that you're suitable for the business. We're an equal opportunity employer, so this does allow us to fall back on a score to ensure that an applicant is up to standard. The second interview is likely to be task related to the new role. So for us, this is also graded to help determine suitability as an equal opportunity on an equal opportunities basis. Now, some agencies might work in a slightly different way, but this is the best way that we've found to find a final assessment of your suitability. So if you follow these steps, you'll definitely be setting yourself up for the top 10% of applicants for any role. It's really important to show your interest and passion for a role. Put this information front and centre so you have it in the interview and you can show them your personality. Best of luck.